Hello everyone, and welcome to Season 3 of WolfQuest, and oh boy am I excited. So, I just want to say, the polls this time have been crazy. They've changed quite a bit, and watching them and seeing how things have developed and shifted has been really fun and really exciting for me, and I hope you guys have been excited about it too. But here we are on Monday, and if some of you have seen the current state of the polls, you're probably wondering, Jay, what the heck are you doing? Why are you starting Season 3 right now? Because if you look at the polls right now, we actually have a tie. We have about 26 votes total, and we have 2 wolves each with 6 votes. And you're probably wondering why the heck we're starting Season 3 so soon. Or some of you might have an idea of what I'm going to do. So, the really interesting thing about this year, this season, this year for the wolves, but this season is, and the poll for this season is that the 2 wolves that are currently tied for first place are actually Nova and Andromeda. Now, both are from the 3rd litter of Kaya's last litter, and both were right there when that awful bear attack happened. And, the poll has been shifting around quite a bit in the last week, but towards the end here, Andromeda actually did not only catch up with Nova, but has also stayed tied with him for the past few days, was actually even leading a little bit. But as of today, they are both, or at least as of when I cut off the poll, unless somebody's come and ninja voted the thing since then, in which case it's past the cutoff. But at this point, I'm cutting off the poll, and right now both of them are tied. But, you know, the thing is, it's not just your ordinary tie, because all through the last of Kaya's litters, all through the 3rd litter, something stood out about Nova and Andromeda, and that was that the 2 of them were always together. They were always playing, they were always getting each other in trouble, they were both right there when the bear attacked. They were always together, and that kind of stuck. And the idea that both of them are now tied for the polls, well, the natural response is to follow both of them. So that is exactly what we are going to do. So we're going to say these 2 never really split up. They dispersed together and they stuck together to form one big pack. Now, probably not the most realistic thing in the world, because most of the time even very close siblings would split off and eventually form their own families, and normally we only would have one dominant breeding pair in the pack. But for the sake of the story, and just because of how close these 2 seemed while they were little, we're going to go ahead and say they did stay together, and they'll actually be working together, raising their puppies together. Now, because of the way the game works, we're never going to see one in the other's episodes, except maybe at the end, because I'll explain that in a little bit. But the way this is going to work is for 3 litters each, we'll be trading off every other day between wolves. So today, and I'll go ahead and hit begin quest, and I'm looking to see, we do not have a difficulty modifier, so we'll be playing on challenging, and today we will actually be starting with Nova. And tomorrow we will be following Andromeda, and we're just going to trade off with them like that through the first few litters. So the first 3 litters, in fact. So let me give you guys a good look at this guy, and we'll explain some things. He does have a notched ear, and he is extremely dark in color. He takes a lot after his dad, but even honestly darker than his dad. Courage was not this dark. He is a very protective wolf, and he actually is here with Andromeda, but we won't be able to see her, and we won't be able to see Nova in Andromeda's episodes, but we're going to go ahead and take out this elk. And the interesting thing, too, is I'll just go ahead and tell you his stats, because he's really fast. I mean, look at this. Look how fast he moves. He actually has 90% speed, which is the highest speed of any wolf, and in fact, the highest stat that we've ever had in a wolf. He's also the least balanced of our wolves, but he is quite strong. In addition to his 90 speed, he has 40 strength. So he is a fairly strong wolf. Where he does not have, let's get this bunny real fast, maybe if we can. We might see a little bit of his potential flaw coming into play here, is that where, in order to have all that speed and all that strength, he really sacrifices on stamina. And, yeah, so he only has 20 stamina. and we're gonna go ahead and come after this elk again. Now, he does move really fast. When he runs, but he can't keep it up for long. He's very much a short range, short distance wolf, and he's also quite powerful in strength. You can see he's doing a lot of damage to this elk. For even the damage he's returned, he's not taking all that much compared to what he's dealing. It's about it's fairly even. So that's basically him. He's a lot less balanced than his sister. I believe Andromeda is actually fairly balanced, and you may notice too that we are going after and attacking literally everything we can see here, because a lot of well, let me explain this too, because Nova actually has a side quest, and this is the first time we've ever seen a side quest in WolfQuest. This is a new introduction with Season 3, along with the annual challenge that will be starting when we get to Slaw Creek. I haven't actually rolled for the annual challenge yet. That will be something we explore when we actually get to Slaw Creek, and we're going to see... Is this fox okay? I think we're gonna leave that fox alone. I think that fox might be sick. But his side quest, oops, and let's take out this coyote, because his side quest is actually that, because his abilities don't allow him inherently to be able to revive a puppy. Oh, and he can kill coyotes with 4 hits. That's really useful. But because he does not actually have the ability to revive a puppy in his ability, he actually has a side quest that will allow him to potentially revive a puppy. And oh, good. These guys are also important. I will explain that in a little bit. So his side quest is that for everything he kills or chases off, he can earn points for it. And when he has 100 points, he can rescue a puppy and basically redeem those with 100 points. So that's a little bit complicated, but and I'm not looking at the point values at the moment. I'm just looking at the description of it. So basically that elk we killed has given us 1 point. And the bunny we killed has given us like 0.2 of a point. And this bear we chased off has given us like 2 points, 1 or 2 points. And the coyotes have given us 1 point each. And when we get to 100 points, we'll be able to actually rescue a puppy. And we're going to head off to the elk hunting ground because we want to improve his stats. We want to we want to earn points and improve his experience. There we go. I can't even talk today. So we want to improve his experience, and we want to open here's the trail, and we want to be able to earn a few points for this. Now, elk aren't worth very much because we do routinely have to hunt them, unless we go after the bull elk, which we may try and do. I will leave that more up to you guys because bull elk hunts are quite long, and maybe what I would do is I would just montage it and show the key parts of it. But if you guys do want to see us hunt a bull elk, then by all means we can, because bull elk are 20 points each, I believe, which is well worth it. And let's see who's gonna run. Who's gonna run? You're gonna run, you're gonna die, pretty much, in this. Yep. And look at that. That elk doesn't stand a chance when he runs. That elk just, oh man, that elk's going down. And we do quite a bit of damage when we, when we are able to actually bite. I tend to do the bite hold with him because he has very little stamina. And so, the more we can, like, if he's going to be running behind that elk, he's going to be losing his stamina very quickly anyway. So if we can get up to it and hold on and deal a bunch of damage all at once, then that's going to be very helpful. Okay, let's turn in this way. Here we go. And it does drain his stamina very fast, but it also does a lot of damage. Look how much we've taken out of that cow elk's health in just 2 bites. That's where the 40 strength comes in. And it's very important. But, so I explained his side quest, but I should also explain his ability and his challenge, because I said that bear was important, and yes, that bear is important. Now, if you'll recall, Nova and Andromeda's mom was actually attacked by a bear and severely injured, and that's why we didn't have a 4th litter, was because she never really recovered from her injuries, and she didn't feel like they would be able to raise another litter because of her injuries. So that is why we moved on when we did. Well, Nova remembered that, and that stuck with him, and the idea of getting used to predators and how they fight has always been a big thing for him. So whenever he managed to chase off a predator, whether that be a cougar or a bear, like the bear we just fought up there, we would get to mark that down. And when he's chased off 5, okay, Okay, this is a good chance as well. We're going to try and kill that elk so we can recover our health, though, because we want to have full health for this. But whenever he manages to chase off 5 of a certain type of predator, he can manage to... Oops, he's stuck in a log. He can actually he can actually gain a chance to rescue himself from otherwise what would have been death by if he's chased off 5 of that type of predator. So if we chase off 4 more bears and he dies to a bear, we can actually reload the save because he'll have chased off enough bears. Now, the catch is that doesn't stack. So if we chase off 25 bears and he doesn't die, but then after the 25th bear he dies, he does not have 4 more revivals. He has to start over from 0. And it doesn't apply to other predators. So this cougar is going to be on a separate tally than the bear. When we go up and chase it. So the cougar is going to be totally separate from a bear. And we need to be kind of careful because his health is getting low. Let's see. I'm going to try and bite hold. Oops. Oh gosh, that wasn't good. Let's see. Can we take it? Oh, we're going to have to back off, aren't we? We're going to run back up here. Is this the cougar carcass? Please don't let this be the cougar carcass, because I don't want to have to chase off a cougar with this little health. But at this point, it's not such a crucial thing if he dies, because, we want, oh, here, this is a different carcass, good. Because he doesn't have an heir yet, so we will say we're going to be able to revive him. But, yeah, we still don't want him to die because he would get a heavy experience penalty, I believe, and that's not good when you're just a dispersal wolf looking to try and find a mate, and you need that experience to be able to prove that you know how to wolf. All right, where's the elk? Here's the elk. Okay, here she is. All right, now we're gonna take her out. That is the thing. He's so unbalanced. He probably does need a little bit of help when it comes to the hunting. It's gonna be difficult for him to hunt entirely on his own, because he does have pretty low stamina. Now, where was that carcass? I bet the cougar finished it. Oh, yep. I think, no, that's the elk. This is the elk where we were hunting the elk. I want to hunt that cougar. I want to see if we can find that cougar. We'll keep looking for it because if we can chase off that cougar, that's a good step towards being able to recover from a death to a cougar. So we definitely want to try and find that cougar and chase it if we can. I just didn't want to do it when we had really low health and no carcass to go to, because we do want to try to be kind of careful. Sorry, my voice is a little bit off today. Alright, so where is the elk herd? Oh, it's still here. Alright, let's see. Let's chase this one down. And we're going to try and not get kicked by the other elk. Here we go. We're actually going to chase the elk this way, so towards the other one that we killed. But yeah, he's got some pretty good stats. They just can be a little bit difficult to work with for the hunting. We will probably need a mate to help us pretty soon here. And we'll be starting to look for her once we've gained a little bit more experience. Then we may actually stick around for a little bit and try and possibly do a little bit more hunting and possibly chase some predators. I don't know. It's going to be interesting having a double season because tomorrow we will actually be following Andromeda's story and we'll be switching off between the two, so it's going to be a little bit longer. I also did mention, but first of all, you know what, I will talk about that afterwards. First of all, I'm going to explain his challenge. So his challenge is pretty simple. He is very much a wanderer, and we saw that even as a pup. He was always running off, always getting himself into trouble, and that stuck with him as an adult. He really just has a hard time settling down in one place. He wants to go see the world. He wants to explore, and so he can't, He must visit all 3 of the other dens, the Creek Den, the Bison Peak Cutoff Den, and the Canyon Cliffs Den, at least once in his life, barring special events that would prevent him from being able to visit all 3. And he doesn't have to visit the Aspen Heights Den. You might be wondering about that because he grew up there, so he already knows what it's like up there. He doesn't have to visit it, but he can if he wants to. The other thing is we will be keeping him and Andromeda at the same den because they are part of one big pack. So wherever Nova ends up for one litter, then Andromeda will be at the same den. And we're going to say they're there helping each other, so we're going to have 8 puppies at one time. Now, of course, the game won't register that, but we are going to have 8 puppies growing up at the same time. Okay, so where is the carcass we just killed? It's right here. So actually, if we bring the elk down right here, there we go. That will actually be good. Okay, we did a little better with not taking so much damage this time, I think. I think we just took a little unnecessary damage the last time. There we go. There we go. We should get her. Should be able to get her. Come on. Come on. We're supposed to die. There we go. And so that is his challenge. And a little bit of how we're going to work things with Andromeda. And switching off between the two. So Andromeda actually is here. They're both a little bit more separate at the moment because they are both searching for mates. And so they're kind of doing their own thing just for now. But they definitely will be joining up again when the time comes to go to the creek. They're still in the same area too, of course. They're still both here on the mountain. So let's check his stats. And he has 560 experience. So we do want to get him a little bit more experience. But we got to find the elk herd to do that. So that is basically how we're going to handle how we're going to handle his challenge and his and switching off with Andromeda and all that. But the other thing I did want to mention is, so I said we're each going to have 3 litters with them. Well, normally we have a 4th litter. So what we're going to do with that is we're actually going to have the 2 of them raise the last litter together, and we're going to say the NPC mates are still there, just kind of in the background, but we're going to actually have Nova and Andromeda have I mean, obviously it's going to be their own litters with their own mates, but we're going to have one of them as what would be the NPC mate. So what that means is I'll come back in the meantime, and whichever one you guys choose, because we will towards the end of that have the chance to vote on which one you would like to see as the player character and which one you would like to see as the NPC wolf. And we're actually going to leave this hunting ground because I think the elk despawned. But we'll have a vote on that, and whoever is the player character will affect who has active challenges, side quest, and ability. And the other will have, we won't have access to their abilities. That's basically what it means. So the 4th litter will be with one as the player and one as the NPC. Again, they're not mates, they're siblings, but we're just going to play one litter as the 2 of them working together. And you'll get to decide which wolf you would rather see as the player character to have the active challenges, and which you would rather see as the NPC who will not have active challenges and who we won't have access to their abilities or anything like that. So you'll have the choice to decide that a little bit later on once we get further in. So that's how we'll handle the 4th litter. So we're actually going to have 7 litters between these guys in total. Technically it would be considered 8 because the last litter we do will have 2, well, we'll have, depending on how they end up looking, between 1 to 4 puppies from each litter. So, if they all end up looking like Andromeda, we're going to say that's mostly her litter, and Nova's mate is going to be taking care of their litter, and we won't see her, and we won't see Andromeda's mate, whoever they might end up to be, those 2, but we won't see them, but they'll still be in the background helping the other puppies, and the active puppies we'll see are going to actually be Nova and Andromeda working together with puppies from both their litters. So I hope all that makes sense. Hopefully it'll start to make more sense as we get further into it. I've never done a sibling challenge like this before, where we have 2 stories running at the same time as heirs, and that's the other thing. When it comes to actually choosing an heir from between them, I'm not entirely sure how we're going to do that. We may have to decide if we want to follow a specific line. We might end up choosing an heir and then have like a specialized side story that runs in tandem with the heirs or something. I don't exactly know how we'll do that. If you guys have ideas on that, I would love to hear them. Because, again, this is something I've never done before, and I'm not entirely sure how it's going to work. Well, I'm kind of just still figuring out a lot of this as we go. So, it'll be interesting, and I'm actually going to stop him entirely so his stamina comes back faster, because, goodness gracious me, he has very low stamina. There we go. The stamina is going to be what's going to be really hard to work with, too, because, he does, oh dearie me, she's running us through the herd. Alright, let's try and get a bite in. We gotta get a bite in fast. Because he's very much a sprint wolf. He can deal a lot of damage, and he can run really, really fast, but he's not very good at going for long periods of time. So it's gonna be a little bit interesting. She just ran right past us. Okay, let's see. I'm going to keep following her. There we go. I don't actually know if stalking works. So see, like this, I don't know. Did that work better than the bite holding? I'm not actually sure. We might have to try and figure out which works better. I'm watching his health carefully because we want to make sure. I think we can get her. Yep. Okay, we got her. He does get pretty low health in some of these hunts, so that's another reason we do want to find him a mate pretty quickly here. And since I talked so much in the beginning, we're going to have a little bit longer. We're not going to cut exactly at 20 minutes, which would be right now. We'll go ahead and do one last hunt. And, oops, as we smack face first into trees. And then after this hunt, we will end the episode tomorrow. We will meet Andromeda and see, and get to see her story begin. And then on Wednesday, we will be back with Nova as he goes to search for a mate, because this should give us enough experience to actually, put us over the minimum for finding a mate. Oh, no, don't kick me. There we go. I thought she was going to kick me for a second. I was like, no, he doesn't need to lose health. He already loses enough health in these fights. But yeah, so also the other thing is, in most cases, if we see a bear or a cougar, we're going to try and go after it, because those guys are very good for his ability, because the more we chase off, the more chance we have that if something catastrophic does happen, like what happened to his mom, we'll be able to say he had enough experience with that predator to avoid being seriously injured or killed. And that is a lot of what that's a lot of what is going to be a big part of his story, I think, is he has the freedom to be a little bit more bold, a little bit more reckless, because he has trained himself, he's experienced, and he's a little bit more confident. Now, also, the one thing to note is, as I said before, I don't know if there's ever been a documented case of siblings working together like this. I mean, I know sometimes they disperse together, but usually they split off when they have mates, but I don't know if there's ever been a documented case of two siblings forming one pack with two breeding pairs. This seems to work better. And, so, because there usually still probably would be a dominant pair, we're going to say that ends up being Nova and his mate. Now, that's not to say, that doesn't affect much except for the way the pack would function. Just to say that they're a little bit more dominant, and Andromeda and her mate are a little bit more subordinate, because that is, Andromeda isn't quite, I think, as hyperactive, crazy, reckless as Nova is. Usually he was the instigator, and she followed along. So she is excitable, and she does have quite a reckless streak of her own, and she is quite feisty, but a lot of the time she's following his lead as well. So there's another elk up there, but I don't think we're going to chase it, because we go to pack stats, he does have 760 experience. So next time we will be, next time we'll be back with we will meet Andromeda and start her story, but the time after that, on Wednesday, we will be back with Nova, and we will be looking for his mate. So, but I will see you guys next time, and until then, this is Jay, over and out.